is Lila'Angelique, and I am an artist, and I've been Mimi, and I've been wanting to. I mean, I have over my lifetime, I've probably made at least 200 just loose leaf drawings, at least. And then I have, my camera is sitting on one of my art books. And I have these art books that I've carried around with me over the years that I've filled with art also. So I have a tendency to just share everything at once because that's just the way that I am, and I'm so prolific that I will just overwhelm people with how much I have to share. And so I'm going to try to go slowly, and I just picked some random pieces that I really like that I worked on in the last couple of years to share with you. And so here's an interesting one. It says, I am on the inside looking out, and there's another piece that says, I'm on the outside looking in, or something like that. And I think it's a representation of me. Everything that I paint and draw is me. But I remember I was sitting in a plane going to Puerto Vallarta for the first time. I think back in August of 2023. This is when we first started traveling again after the pandemic happened. And we were like finally able to travel again. And the first place we chose to go was PV, and I was working on this. And I finished it the first week we were there, so my work's very, very weird and colorful. But I wish I had the piece that goes with it. It's like, it's my face, and it's colorful, bright, crazy face. And then this is like the inside of me. You see the eyes. I love eyes. I love drawing and painting eyes. And at this point I was very into symmetricality, things being very symmetrical. So yeah, and it's all, I'm doing it all from imagination. It's, you know, I don't have any references or anything. This is one that I love so much. This is one of my favorite drawings I've ever done, and it's black and white, which is unusual because for anybody who knows me, I'm obsessed with color and everything. I wear colorful clothes. I always dye my hair strange colors. Usually, right now I haven't. And I love colors. I would paint my face in bright colors. So this being black and white is significant. I worked on this in Amsterdam, probably in 2024 sometime, I think. We went back to visit our friends Wim and Maya, who have this cute little apartment that's old place made of wood, and all of his art's everywhere, and they were really good friends of ours for a long time. And I got this big journal book, and I wanted to start making another large journal. All these pages are from that journal, but they all fell apart, of course, eventually. So this is one of the first ones that I did. Actually, this is the first one that I did in that book. But I think this is maybe the second one. And as you can see, I started with this. So it's like a head, if you can see. It's a head that's flowing with some kind of maybe ephemeral gas or clouds or something, and then I gave it like some kind of thing to, like some kind of divine light coming into it. And the orb, I love making orbs. I was trying to make a head and a body, and then of course it just went into this crazy weird thing. And then those are all my hands, of course. I love drawing hands as well. I feel like a long time ago, when I learned that to be abstract with with my work if I just painted body parts that were separate from the human body, like a hand that was just floating somewhere, or an eyeball was floating off, and then it made it abstract, or a head that was not attached to a body. You know, so for me, I guess one could say it's a intuitive way to just make my art really abstract. And I'm not trying to make my art strange. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but it just comes out like this. I'll have a certain thought in my head of, I want it to look like this, I want it to have this certain kind of, I wanted to create this kind of thing, and then it will turn into something else that I would never know it would. But the composition of this piece is really interesting. This little, and there's these little creatures kind of poking out of the, and then I love making these little weird creatures, different eyes floating around, floating hands and stuff. And at one point, I think I got to this point, and I said, oh, having a face there would kind of pull everything together in an interesting way. And I took, you can see it, I took an image of, Devin Townsend is one of my favorite performers, musicians that I've ever known. And there's a great live solo performance that he did that's on YouTube, and he has these incredible facial expressions, just amazing facial expressions. And so I screenshotted his facial expression for this one, and he just looks like he's staring into the abyss. You know, he looks like he's seeing something that he shouldn't be seeing, or something like that. I don't know how else to explain it. But I loved it, and I created it with marker, and with no outlines, no preparation. I just did it straight onto the page, and the shadow and everything, which was at the time kind of a new thing for me. Even when I look at it now, I'm like, oh my God, how did I do that? Because for a long time I worked with pencil only, and I would erase things a lot, and I would make weird images, but I wouldn't fully commit to them because I wasn't using pen or paint. Whereas now I only use pen. Now I only use, for a while I used pencil, and then I started using markers and jelly roll pens, and now I pretty much only use paint, acrylic paint. And I really like the immediacy of that. I like that it's, you know, it's something it can't really be changed. It can, but not like pencil. So, and then I got another screenshot of him. This is all Devin Townsend. I think that's him too, or maybe that's me. That's another of him, kind of staring off into the abyss. You know, he makes great facial expressions. Devin Townsend does. So I think then I turned it around and did these strange floating heads, which I love doing as well. And I added a little color here and there, which I found to be striking. And there's a good deal of white space in it, so I feel like it can be looked at from any direction. Anyway, I think the next painting I do on canvas, I'm going to use this as a reference and kind of try and make a painting based on this, because I really love it. And another thing is that when I was finishing this picture, when we were about to leave Amsterdam, actually, we were sitting in a train station, and in the Amsterdam train station, waiting for our train, and I think we almost missed our train or something happened, and this cleaner, this just regular old man, was passing back and forth past us, and he would lean over and look at me because I was drawing like this, sitting here drawing like this. And I used to love drawing in public. I would always paint in public and draw in public. In New York and in Europe, I would always just sit and draw in public. And this man would pass by this drawing, and he looked at it, he stopped for a minute, and he said, "Oh, it's like Salvador Dali." So that was a major compliment for me, because Salvador Dali is one of my greatest heroes. He's, you know, a genius, of course, and he somehow was able to find fame and success with his work while he was alive, which is so rare. This is the other side of that's what I would do with this particular book, is I would oh, it goes like this. Yeah, I would make both sides of the drawing. So that's cool. I don't like this side as much. It's too messy. But it's kind of cool. It's still, there's Devin Townsend again, making a weird face. There's me, I think. Not sure. But I do like this little creature. It's pretty fun. And it all becomes very symbolic. I really can't tell you, even myself, what it means. Yeah, so this is the one I first did in this book a few years ago when we were traveling around Europe. I did it in Wim and Maya's house up in their attic bedroom where we were staying. And it's always hard to start a new book, but I really love the creature with the strange floating head and then these hands, and yeah, it's very surreal. And I'm again, like, I'm not trying when I do my work, when I'm painting or drawing, I'm not trying to be surreal. I'm not trying to make it otherworldly. It just is. I don't know where it comes from. I think it's just ingrained in my soul. I think I have a surreal soul, probably. Let's see. This one I really like because it's cutouts. I cut out pieces of paper. They're all little cutouts, and so I cut out. I cut out a bunch of squares. See, and then I made one whole painting with, it's just one cohesive thing, but they're each individual little squares, which I will sometimes. I really enjoy doing that because it helps me with, if it's a large piece, and then I break it down into these smaller things, and then it also makes me really imaginative, because I would never think of having all of these kinds of things together in one piece. And actually, one of the things that my friend Wim said to me back then was that one piece has like 100 paintings in them. So like this one has, right there, there's a painting. There's a painting. There's a painting. There's just tons of paintings in each one, and I'm so obsessive about filling the whole page with strange shit. And I know it just looks so crazy and outrageous, but the thing that's so strange about me with my work is when I'm working on my paintings, on my drawings, I'm not thinking about, oh, let me make this look really abstract and strange, and let me add all of these really weird colors, and I want to make it feel very surreal and otherworldly and have this vibe about it that's like this. And all my work, even, if you see the black and white and the color, it still is, it's all me. You can tell that it's my style. So I love detail. Detail is something that completely obsesses me. I can't, it's really hard for me to work on something that isn't super detailed. Same with music. When I compose music with Reason, it's the same thing. I'm just obsessed with making as many layers as possible and adding a ton of different reverbs and effects to each sound, and making them as intricate and complex as I can, because it's just fun for me. It's what I enjoy doing. And here's another, it's kind of like a a comic, you know. It's in my mind. I sometimes will go, "Ooh, I want to make like a comic strip of my work, and make it really abstract and where there's no real clear story, and you know, but you can kind of go along with this, or maybe even do this and then write some weird stuff and make it into like a story. You know, wouldn't that be cool? It's like that's a book. I do want to make a book of my work. I do. Yeah, and there's Thoth and me. I tend to not draw him very much. I don't know why. He's so personal to me that I struggle with like putting him on paper and drawing him. And all of these two are, I would say, studies. Like I use with these kinds of things. I use references. I find things on Pinterest and will use them as a reference to a certain extent, and then expand upon that. And it's really fun to like take images that I really like and fool around with them and make them mine. And this one's cool. For some reason, I've always drawn on the back and the front of each page. Every page of art that I've ever done, that's what I do also. So with paintings, for example, I can't paint on the back of a painting, so that's been helpful for me actually. Because I'm just so obsessed with covering the entire blank space with something, so I'll paint on the back. So I'll do like one masterpiece on one side and another masterpiece on the other side. I never use AI with any of my work ever, by the way. Not with my music, not with my art, not with anything that I do creatively, not with anything I do at all. And but for 1 minute, a friend of mine, years ago, before we started, like maybe in 2022, they mentioned AI and they said, "Oh, you can make AI images," and so I tried it. I tried like the free version just because I wanted to see what it could do, and I had it create images like this. And so I have a couple on a hard drive somewhere of the few little AI things that I did. But all that to say is I took the AI images that I made and I painted them. I drew them. So these three creatures and these three I used in this painting, which was kind of cool to do that, and interesting probably because most people are going to make an AI image and they're not going to then paint it. I guess it's supposed to be like an exploding being having an outer dimensional experience. I don't know. Again, I don't know where this stuff comes from. You can ask. Don't ask me because I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I have an answer, but I don't. And then here's another panel from quite a while ago. This one's from years and years ago. I've been drawing since I was 18 years old or something, and I'm now 38, so 20 years. This one's from a while ago, but this is kind of like a better version, more advanced version of this. And this is a more advanced version of this, and this is a more advanced version of this, so anyway, I do want to make a book of my work, of my artwork. That's one of the things on my list of things to do. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, but I want to do it. Same as I want to write the story of our lives. I want to say the reason why my work is so outré and je ne sais quoi and outrageous and unusual is because I am. I just naturally am this way. And I've been this way since I was very young, probably since I was 12 or 15 years old. And I really don't know where it came from. My mother was an artist for a time. She never went as outrageous as I did. There's not really anybody else in my family who was an artist. There's nobody in my family who's like me, except for my mother, maybe, to a certain extent. So Probably, I'd say that my art is a representation of what I really see the world inside of my head to be. It's always been, if I can create something that I can see in my head and put it on paper, or put it into music, or put it into something that's in reality, then I've succeeded in some way. And with my paintings, it's the same. It's that I, have some kind of thought or image in my head, and then I am able to, through the skills that I've developed over my life of painting and drawing and being creative every single day, as I've disciplined myself to just create endlessly every single day, obsessively. It's very natural to me. And it's also a desire to create something that is vibrant and mystical and mythical, and the way that I really want the world to be. Because for me, the world is very drab. It's very, most people are very one-dimensional, and life can be pretty, where we live in Bali, we're very lucky to be in an area of the world where it's actually beautiful. Where there's green, this verdant, beautiful green everywhere you go. We just went on this beautiful ride to Tabanan today, and just stunning landscape and colors everywhere, which is why we live here, because it's just so magnificently beautiful in a way that nowhere else in the world is. So we're very lucky to live here, and Bali is as close to my imagination as could be on this earth, I think. Like, the Balinese are naturally creative, and they're naturally colorful, and their ceremonies are very mystical, so yeah, it's a lifelong journey for me, and I'll continue to share, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5 pieces, and I have hundreds, so I don't want to overwhelm you. I know nobody's watching this. I'm doing this for posterity's sake, and yeah, more to come.